Hi. Before in our test to get deterministic board, the board that is the same between every test reload, we had to go inside and look how get Sudoku works and all the methods that go into generating a board so that we could stop individual methods for generating the board and then permutating the numbers on a board. But if we look how the board is generated in our application, it's generated in the game where we say get unique, right? It's pretty simple, right? Our component, the game, just calls this get unique Sudoku and gets one array and a second array, right? And this function is just imported from another module. So what does it give us? Let's put a debugger keyword here and run the test. And for this test, I'm just gonna start a new test and I'll call it marks the board, because we are going to stop that board generation function as as a single shot. So we'll say mount and just like before app. Okay. npx Cypress open. Right. So we did put a debugger here, so it will stop, so we can actually grab those values from one of the runs so that we can use those as a fixture. Okay, so let's open app spec. Let's open DevTools, so debugger keyword works. Great. So we have this array and we have a field array. We can take this variable and use copy in DevTools, which copies the current object into the clipboard, and then we'll go into Cypress fixtures folder and we can say it's, let's say, init array JSON, and we will paste it, and this is what we copied. And we need the second variable, the solved array, so we'll say copy. Excellent, and we'll call it solved array JSON paste. So now we have those two fixtures, and in our test we have to load those fixtures. I'll say fixture init array, then so this will be init array, and then we'll say fixture solved array, then solved array, and we need to mount the app here. Well, what do we do about those arrays? Inside the game, we need to call this method, and this method comes from this module. So what we can do in our test is to import the same module, and we'll import everything from it as, what is it? So this is called unique Sudoku from, and we'll just copy paste this path. Right. So now that we imported it, we'll say stub that object, and that object has a named export, so we'll say stub on this module this named export. And now what do? We say returns, and we'll just look at what it returns. Just an array with those two fixtures, so we have them. So first init array and then solved array. Okay, I can remove it. Let's reload things. Now notice 691. If we load 691, we stub, and it was really called right here. We can see this call. We stub the named import that the game calls to generate, and we just provide a fixture there. So when we mount the app, the board display will always be the same. For good measure, we should also stop the clock so it doesn't tick right here. So it stays at 0, 0. Another nice trick is that we want to check, just like we checked before, that it has rendered before we take a snapshot. And right here we can say same game container mocked, so that we know that it has rendered and we generate the snapshot, and we only capture the snapshot inside the doc container. One final trick. So this stubbing is working, and because Cypress commands all run one by one, we don't have to suffer for this pyramid of doom. So what we want to really do here, we want to load this fixture, we want to load the second fixture, and we need those variables. So we do have to put this call to stub inside the closure right here. But the rest have to run after it. So we can move them outside, and the clock and the mount and the get will only execute after fixture is loaded, stub is created when the clock runs. So we can move them outside of pyramid of doom and be linear, because it all executes one after another. Right? The same result. So mark those named imports.